Peace and love. 000 on the clock. Sending you all positive energy, high vibes, success on your entrepreneurship, all love, all positivity. Today, I'm going to be speaking about African spirituality, what it is, and how was it practiced in one of the first mother civilizations, ancient Kemet. Also, it's practiced by Buddha and Hindu. So I'm going to give you all a little bit of each tradition so you'll have the understanding of how spirituality works. Okay? Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You hit the like button and you leave me any comments or questions in my description below. Now, in ancient Kemet, it was a well organized system that displayed spiritual science throughout all the temples and monuments around the globe, starting in Kemet, northeast, known to be the darkest place in ancient Kemet, where the ancient ancestors first migrated, coming across the Nile River. Okay, so in order to be a divine being in ancient Kemet, you had to have balance. So they had high priests that had to go to school for over 20 years. Okay, they had a well organized system where you had to run track. You had to be in great shape in order to be a high priest. You also had to eat clean, meaning they believed in eating vegan, okay? That we resonate with nature. So once we eat life-charging foods, it helps us to be on a higher frequency, okay? A higher level of the subconscious. Also, you had to meditate. You had to sun gaze. You had to go by the 42 laws of Ma'at. Okay? So the 42 laws describe truth, balance, morality, and you had to live as a righteous being. So they weighed your heart on a feather to determine, was you righteous once you went on to the afterlife. So they went through a spiritual system where, as we are being guided, protected, we are responsible for our deeds on the earth physically. And also when we go to known as the underworld, the afterlife, we also are responsible for our deeds. Okay, so they did a ritual where you had to place your heart on the feather once you went to the afterlife, and it'll determine if you went on and lived a blissful life, or if you had to get your heart chewed up by a hippopotamus by the name of Emmet. Okay, and it was thrown into the fire. Okay, and that's how they practiced their practices in ancient Kemet. Okay, and they stated the 42 laws and said they agreed to them as they woke up in the rising. As they went to sleep, they stated the 42 laws and said they have not committed them laws. Okay, it's also known as the 42 confessions. Okay, so it was a well organized system. Also, all throughout Kemet, it showed death and rebirth, for us to have the understanding that after death there's always life, but we have to assess the darkness in order to reach the light. It's a part of ascension. Okay, so they had the temples that started off small, short, and round, and as they grew taller, they thinned and went straight up. For example, for ascension. Okay, so that's basically how the geometry figures work in the cells in our body. Okay, we start off at 1, they multiply. Okay, the pyramids start off small, round, little, and they ascend up. Okay, so they expand out, really going up into the heavens. Also, when we deal with the black soil in ancient Kemet, it was known to be the soil that brought fertility to the lands. Okay, 555 on the clock, and it was symbolic to ascension. Okay, without that black soil and them having the flood, they wouldn't be able to have crops. Okay, so it describes that we're going to have to go through that dark to reach the light and to prosper and have beautiful things after we go through that deep physical traumatic experience. Okay, so they also had the pyramids, and the pyramids was symbolic to ascension. Okay, we start from the lower, known to be the god Set in ancient Kemet, known to be chaos, envy, destruction, because he killed the founding father of Kemet because he was jealous of his brother Asar. Okay, so it's symbolic too. We all is going to have that physical experience, that traumatic experience of Set. But can we transcend from the energy of low vibrating energy and envy and trauma and negative emotions and ascend to become better? Okay, so it's seen throughout Kemet. They also made the human body mimic the temples. So every time that you walked in a temple, it was symbolic to the human body. Okay, and they also mimic nature. So as we have the understanding that we are connected with nature, we have the understanding of divine oneness. Okay, so they had animal heads, and they were symbolic to divine oneness of everyone being connected as all. Okay, they also were symbolic to different characteristics and different energy we hold. It was also symbolic to being able to shape shift into an animal head. Okay, so animal heads are found throughout traditions worldwide. Okay, and the knowledge that started at ancient Kemet is now crystallized throughout the world. So we have traditions worldwide that is practicing spiritual discernment, ascension, okay, by having the understanding to balance the mind, the body, and the spirit as a whole. And that's why, as I researched, I said, this is why everything is being taken. One culture is taking this one from the other, and it's symbolic to collective consciousness of us all being on one seat like the White House. So that's why I believe it happened, because they knew a day would come where everyone would be at one seat, no matter the nationality, no matter the religion. Okay, and in ancient Kemet, they were well disciplined. 9:49 on the clock. And when we think of discipline, discipline builds our character. It it makes us to become stoic. It helps us on our spiritual journey. Because if we discipline, we're focused on the goal. We also are organized. Okay, so they have the tree of good and the tree of evil. And it's symbolic too, as we going to eat from the tree of good and live as a righteous being and operate out of the heart space, the center of love. Or if we eat from the tree of evil, it's symbolic to being imbalanced. Okay, doing unrighteous things. And we as divine beings have that choice to make if we want to ascend and to become better. And the 42 laws of Mayat was symbolic to being disciplined, being balanced, having the understanding of spiritual discernment, and living as a righteous being, and know that you are responsible for your deeds on the earth. Okay? In the spiritual and also the physical. Okay? And not to have us to live in a sense of fear, but to have us to live in a sense of discipline. And to have discipline, have structure, and have the understanding of the conscious and the subconscious mind. And once we are aware of our creativity, our past origin, the things we can add on that's essential in having soul evolution, we are tapped into our true divinity of who we are. So worldwide, they have traditions that is actually tapping into spiritual discernment by accessing the God that dwells within. Okay, so it's known as the Gotaka. They got so many. The Christ consciousness, the pineal gland with the pituitary gland, and it's all symbolic to the liquid in our body that everyone is born up under on their rising sign. When the moon is in that rising sign, the seed, and that seed is symbolic to the baby. Okay, but we have to activate that seed by living as a righteous being. Once we activate the seed, the liquid is then activated 1313 on the clock, and it awakens us and waking up those dormant cells in the body. Okay, and the power is increased and amplified of the cells, meaning we perceive a higher level of consciousness. We are eating from the tree of good, meaning we are taking care of the body as a whole, the body, the mind, and the spirit. Okay, and I spoke about how when we deal with the neuroplasticity, known as the neuroplastic, how our brain, we can rewire it by the experiences that we have by taking on a trade every day or learning something new every day and focusing on it. Our brain grows. It ascends. Every time that we take on a trade and we learn something new, we open up fields in our electric magnetic energy in the body. So it expands out. And that's what they were trying to show us in ancient Kemet and also other traditions that practice African spirituality and divine oneness spirituality, is to be of balance with the mind, the body, and spirit as a whole. Do things that are essential for you, that's going to help you to vibrate from the heart space of love. Okay? And when you do, the power is amplified back to you. Anything that we do out of our heart, okay, it's always amplified back. So the whole purpose of spirituality is to tap into our true divinity. Okay? For an example, in ancient Kemet, they showed us ascension by the pyramids, by the temples, by the black soil. Okay? Also by the spiritual stories. Hamilton building the first building in human history. The step pyramid showing him ascending to heaven. Okay? So as we learn the allegories and the stories, we have the understanding. It's about us going within, accessing that God, being creative. They showed us in Kemet by the step pyramid, by the pyramids, by the temples, by the gods and letters that were in stone, that we are creative beings. So it requires us in spirituality to meditate, to ground ourselves, to take care of our body, our mind, body, spirit, emotions as a whole. Okay? Eat clean, exercise, operate out of the heart space of love, be of service to others, and help them as you ascend. Send the elevator back down. Always take on something new to help you ascend, grow, and perceive a higher level of consciousness. And be aware of all aspects of life and all aspects of yourself. And also continue to learn and grow. And once you do, you'll tap into spiritual discernment. But most of all, tap into your true individuality. What you love to do, what you love to create, and embody that love inside, because that's where the greatest wealth comes from, is internal work, being aware of who you are, 1818, and tapping into your own individuality. And after you embody the love for yourself, then you express it outwards. And that's what spirituality is symbolic to. I love you all. I'm sending you all positive energy and high vibes. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You hit the like button and you leave me any comments or questions in my description below. Just before I get off, when we think of the temples in Kemet, okay, the holy of the holies was known to be the gods' temples. And in the holies of the holy, the temple of the pineal gland was there. So we have to access the God that dwells within us. And once we do, we will embody the love for ourselves. And it will just overflow, and we express it outwards. I love you all, and I'm sending you all great vibes, and I'll be back with more. Peace and love.